I don't know. And I like it that way. I'm going to explain why. I know that I'm in, let's say, the top 1%, probably less than that, but I have a ballpark range, but I really don't know how much Bitcoin I really have. And I like this because I still check the prices. I'm a normal person. But if I knew how much exactly I have, then I'd be obsessing over it more. I'd get scared. The reason why I don't know is because I have it on multiple platforms, different things, how to store it and whatnot, ledgers, all that. Um, but this way it kind of makes it so I'm not staring, because I know for me when I had crypto, I still do, but you know what I'm saying, in my wallet, if it was all in that wallet, I would just sit there and stare at the numbers and just stare and stare and stare. And basically, I would always be watching it. And I mean, I still check the prices, obviously. But when it's spread out more, it gets too hard to calculate, like, how much I have and, times this amount. And so basically, what it does is it like allows it to not even be like a question in my head, right? Like, I don't sit there and be like, oh, I have, I don't know, point whatever Bitcoin. Um, I see some of it, I have a ballpark range, but I don't know exactly how much I have. Even same with actually with most of my cryptos. Um, I don't really know how much I have. I would have to do the math, and I don't want to do the math, so I just kind of let it like be, you know? This is my way of investing in a weird way. I like to not say neglect, that's nothing what I do, but I like to store places, store things in places and come back to it later once I realize like, oh yeah, I still have something there. You know, I feel like I do it intentionally. So it's not like I don't want to know how much I have. Actually, I don't. I don't because I feel like I would obsess over it more, right? Like I always use the comics, right? Like I'm not obsessing over the price because I don't really know. I'd have to check the prices of them. I kind of remember what I paid for them, but I have to check. And then it's like, nah, I'm good. So it's just gonna sit there. And that way it can kind of grow in the background while I just live my life. While I'm buying more assets and different things. I don't have to sit there. I guess the reason why I'm saying this, right, is because I noticed with even me in the beginning, um, let's say I had, let's say Robinhood, I had $50 of Ethereum, and that's all I had. I would just be constantly staring at it. Whereas now that I have so many assets, I can't really just, what am I going to do? Stare at this one, open? I mean, I could, but it would take a lot of work to do all that. And I make it not hard, but I don't want myself to get obsessed with the numbers or so I spread it out. I have to damn near track down what I have because in that way I can forget about it. But I still know it's there. I just don't have to worry about it. I have some items and some things that have gone up really good profit margins. Um, but I just checked the price today, so I'll be like, oh wow, this thing's up, man. So, but see, if I had seen it going up, right? Like let's say it was 1,000, right? And then I saw it go 1,200, then 1,300, then 1,100, then 1,200. That would drive me crazy. So I can set it down, come back to it maybe a year later and see that it's gone up like a lot and be like, oh wow, man, I completely forgot I even had this thing. It's easier for me to do it this way. And I also do that by buying more assets. But I notice even with some people at work, like I said, it's just a mindset thing, right? I feel like most people would be like, oh, $1 in Bitcoin? What does that matter? It's not gonna do anything, right? then buy it. Then buy $1 of Bitcoin. They won't because they know self-consciously that they're going to be checking the price of it. Oh my God, Bitcoin went up 3 cents, or, like, so it feels like, it's like a barrier of entry. It's like, if you don't have any assets, you don't want any because you're going to be like, oh man, I can get the money. I want the money. I want the money. I want the money. But if you have a lot of assets, you're like, I don't want the money. I just want the assets. Because I tried to, I'll be honest, this is where I messed up at. I bummed a cigarette off from one of my coworkers and I didn't have $1. I was like, I'll give you $1. And I was like, whatever. I didn't have one. So I was like, let me just send you $1 of Ethereum. You know what he told me? He was like, what am I going to do with $1 of Ethereum, man? It's like, I have to pay the gas fees and then the fees just for selling, and I basically get nothing. If I send you $1 of Ethereum, why do you need to cash out, right? Why can't it just be sitting there? I think for people, the idea of it sitting there is kind of scary, I don't know why. It's just not even a money, it's just a fear thing. It's like, oh, what if I lose that $1? Dude, it's just $1, man. But they won't purchase it because they're afraid. That little bit of fear is what keeps people out of the market. And in that same way, it's that, like, me being able to forget about it makes buying assets for me so much easier. There's not an emotional attachment. I don't get emotionally attached to my investments anymore. I try to sometimes I do, but I really don't anymore. There's really I don't have emotions towards these things. None of these things make me feel good, but I don't need them. And it's like, in that way, I can be very competitive because I don't have emotions attached to my money or to my assets, But I realize that, at least in this game, people are afraid of assets. There would be times when I was really broke, back way when I would look around, I'm like, dang, I could really use $20. And then I would look around and be like, dude, why don't I have anything that I could exchange for $20, right? Like, why do I have nothing? I have stuff, but it's not worth anything. And then I'd be like, And then I'd go out and buy something worth something. And then at some point I'd pawn it and get the money. And it'd be like this weird cycle, never really accumulating, buying, and then getting rid of it because I want the money or something, right? There is no methodical planning with any of this stuff. But this is kind of the path they want us on. And I just realized, that's why I suggest, if you are trying to invest, you need to spread it out into multiple asset classes because you don't want to get stuck looking at the same screen because you're going to end up cashing out. That's all this guy at work was talking about, cashing out, cashing out, cashing out. And I was like, dude, what is this guy's problem, man? And I was telling him about some investments, man. And he's like, well, what are you going to do with that, man? It's just going to sit there. This is what they don't understand. This is what they keep us from. It's really knowledge. I realized anything in my life that I've struggled on was a lack of knowledge. I don't have the knowledge to know what the right answer is. All I'm saying is, I don't know how much Bitcoin I have. I have an idea. That's all I need. I have an idea of what the price is for these. That's all I need. I don't need to sit there and I guess also that kind of goes into the poor mindset of people who, it's like they almost have one foot in, one foot out, This is how they want you to be. They want you to be, oh, just made 10%, let me cash out. Just bought in, just lost 5%, let me cash out. They don't ever want you to actually get ahead. Maybe if you feel like cashing out, maybe you should look for a different asset class to throw a couple bucks at. Give you something to be distracted by. I don't know how much Bitcoin I have. Me living with me being in the top 1%, I'll take that. I don't need to know more. When the time comes, I will look back and I'll be like, dang, man, I got a lot of Bitcoin. I got a lot of crypto. I got a lot of assets. But the time isn't now. I'm still accumulating. So you need to be very diverse. Not always. You can obviously have most of your money in Bitcoin. I would suggest that. But you need something else to keep your mind going and let that Bitcoin do its thing in the background. How it was supposed to be done, you know? Not just staring at it, trying to, and all this trading and buying and trading stuff, that's newbie stuff, usually. There are obviously some high-level buyers and traders. I can't even cap, but for the average person, us, regular people, dude, just buy assets continuously. You'll look up one day and you'll have more than you ever thought you have. And then you'll realize none of this stuff really matters and you'll get even wealthier. Peace.